everybody. Got to restart, you know what I'm saying? Because my boy Derrick had his Van Gogh going on. One of the ears wasn't working. But, everything is a go. Oh, yes, the entendres are plenty. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, fans of all ages, welcome to another episode of Fans, where you, the fan, can compete. We also love to discuss music news, culture, and everything related to entertainment as it intersects with us. So, today, as I'm reading my notes, a prompt popped up. My bad about that. But today we're going to discuss a few topics that I think y'all find very interesting. But before we get into all of that, I want to remind you to follow us on all social media platforms. OTS Media Co. You can follow us on Instagram. You can definitely find us on Twitter. OTS Media on YouTube. You can also find us as on the sidelines on Facebook. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Next, I want to introduce you to the fam, the team, the squad. We lit. My co-hosts, my co-workers, however you want to say it. We have Janine Berry.
Hi.
And we have Derrick, spelled the black way, Myers.
What's going on? Good to see y'all again.
So
It's
lovely.
good to see y'all too.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I've
been on a hiatus, so I apologize, but
man, there's been so much life that has been life in my life.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
The relocation has been significant, but have this recorded so we can have this moment etched in digital stone. Relocating from LA back to Michigan, so it's good to be home. You know, Troy Jersey on. Squad in the background, Saginaw, Michigan. Where I'm from. While our star athlete Draymond Green got put out the playoffs, we still have our star son, the OG Darvin Ham, head of the LA Lakers, straight from Saginaw, Michigan, in the playoffs right now.
Wow. It's funny how y'all just claim people randomly now. All right. But let's just
What you mean? He's really from Saginaw. Like his mom was even the mayor of the city. Like he went to like the high Saginaw High. What are we doing?
I ain't never heard you talk about no Darvin Ham till today. But
just like you never heard me talk about the Tigers, but here I am with like what we doing? What are we doing? All right.
It's all good. It's all good. Because and the reason why I'm kind of like I got a little thing with you is because you've been ducking the smoke with me for this fans battle. We're supposed to be doing the J. Cole Wale battle, just so y'all know. That's supposed to be happening. I've been waiting to hear back from this man as to when that's gonna happen. And that man has been dodging and weaving. It's you might as well play running back, bro. That boy is going through everything. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So I'm gonna let y'all know in June it's official. I don't have the exact date yet, but I'm gonna tell you now. Next month, as in June of 2023, in the year of the Lord of our Savior, it's going down. I am representing Wale. That's my guy, and I am more than confident Wale is able to beat J. Cole. Not only like one up, but especially because Derrick is playing J. Cole. Like, I'm a fan of both of them. So, the best way to
mean, bro. And that's what's been in my ears is J. Cole. I've been listening to J. Cole nonstop for the last month in preparation for this battle. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying in preparation for this battle. I've been dissecting every single thing that I can listen to make sure that this is good and we get you up out of here as fast as the Warriors got up out of there.
Hey, I've been an avid fan of J. Cole and Wale. Saw them in concert together and have each seen them in concert separately, in addition to listening to all of their mixtapes and their albums, and just bopping along to the jam. So there's a proverb I love, right? It says, if you don't know yourself and you don't know your enemy, you'll suffer a defeat every time. If you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, for every for every win, you'll suffer a defeat. If you know yourself and you know the enemy, victory is guaranteed every time. I know both of them. Do you?
Yes. What are we talking about here? So is victory
me not being convinced?
Guaranteed. I don't care if you're convinced or not. Victory is not guaranteed for both of us. It's just going to be for me.
I don't
So
know.
what
You
what
looking
have you
like the
been listening to?
Celtics, and I'm trying to turn the heat up. How to finish that joke off? What have I been listening? Oh, man, that is
You
a
know what?
sore spot. My goodness.
How's it a sore spot? See, the reason why you're not used to actually going through a series is because your team is always out of the playoffs.
Okay.
So, you know,
Yeah.
as much as you've been winning, in contention for championships lately, that's exactly what we're going to see with this battle. You're going to come up short, and we're gonna over the next couple of weeks until the battle actually starts. You and I are gonna do a couple activities to just kind of like get this battle going. And I'm
Yeah,
looking
I'm
forward
gonna
to
say some of
doing
my
that.
rebuttals for you. So I'm with it.
Hey, that's
Well,
perfectly fine. Janine.
yeah.
Yeah, y'all started bringing in sports references and all this other stuff. I bow out gracefully. I don't know nothing about that. Um, I also have this thing where I've been trying to gamble using Prize Picks. I know nothing of no type of sports stats, nothing. Have I been winning? Kind of, sort of, a little bit. I lost for the first time yesterday, and now I'm done with it. So we're not doing that anymore. So yeah, fuck sports a little bit.
Well,
But I haven't been listening to.
you've been gambling blindly.
I mean, I will Google this person's stats, and I look at like the last 4 games, right? And I'm like, okay, based off of these numbers, he should be able to put up X amount of points this game. And it just didn't work out for me last night, like at all.
Oh, you weren't talking about any Detroit Pistons players, so it's perfectly fine. No. But what have you been listening to?
Dang, that's crazy.
Not Wale, not J. Cole. I've been listening to Selena over and over and over again, and it's one song, Si Una Vez. And I don't know why, but I just listened to it over and over again for like the past week. It's a beautiful song. And I've said this before, I've been doing a lot of SoundCloud versus like actual singles. So I've been listening to like a lot of mixes. And there's this DJ that I follow on SoundCloud called or named Corey Towns. And he has this mix called 4 Office Hours. And it's just like straight heat from beginning to end. He throws like Afro beats in there, house in there, Jersey Club, a little bit of rock and roll. Like he literally covers everything. And it's just like a straight vibe. So that's what I've been listening to.
Jersey Club is top tier and needs way more love.
And I also feel like Jersey Club was way ahead of its time because Philly club music or whatever this is called is kind of taking the spotlight right now. But all this dancing shit and like the beats and stuff is very Jersey Jersey Club-esque. You know what I'm saying? And had TikTok been out when I was first introduced to it, 2008, 2009, like it would have had way more backing than it does now.
Definitely. Jersey Club is perfect for like TikToks because it has like a lot of repeatable segments. It's high energy, and the sounds are like one of a kind. Just like I'll be in there bopping like, hey.
Like you cannot not be in a good mood listening to Jersey Club. Like you want to get so it's
if you don't like Jersey Club, I don't like you.
And you can make a Jersey Club out of like literally anything. Like literally anything, and it'll go off.
Like one of the dopest mixes I heard, guy named Austin Mills. He's made his rounds on Instagram here or there because he does some like pretty cool mashups. He's a one trick pony for the most part, so his stuff gets old really fast. But he had one of his joints that was like straight standout, and he took a gospel song from LaShawn Pace called "Act Like You Know," and I would have never thought it, but how he flipped that gospel song was so cold. Because I didn't even know the gospel song before he actually flipped it into a club beat. And he took like her like soloing over a part and then made that the vamp, and then he brought the beat in off of that, and he chopped her vocals up. I'm gonna have to play it for it one day, but yeah, I guess this is a perfect segue into what have I been listening to? A little bit of everything. Most of my music comes in the gym. When I was back in LA, it was a lot different because I had like long treks to and fro, grocery store, gym, stuck in traffic. I can listen to so many things. Back at the crib, there are a lot like shorter commutes, like 5, 10 minutes. So I'm not really like making out albums as much, but man, I've been on that young boy. I've been on that young boy so much lately, man. Just going through his whole discography, like it's just so much energy and it's crazy. I'll be like, man, that's my little youngin. Like he be hard headed, but his music just be, I don't know. I resonate with it. So when they always talk about how like young boy fans like bite bricks and be, mentally retarded or whatever, I'm like, take exception to that. Cause I used to be bumping young boy in the lab. I'm sure enough walking through with my lab coat on, my goggles and my gloves, and I'm just, well, I shouldn't say whipping. I was whipping, but
Yeah,
like I'm
You're in a
still,
that's
literal lab.
yeah,
yeah.
it
Definitely a
was
lot
legal
of whipping.
drugs.
He was literally cooking.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, like I was saving people. Jokes aside.
Yeah.
um, Let me see another thing. Bravo by Toby and Weedway. That goes hard. Going through like my playlist. I just been going back on some old songs too. You know what I'm saying? Crush on You, Mr. Cheeks. I was like, dang, I forgot about that joint. That was classic. Went back to Urban Legend by T.I. Like that album is supremely slept on. What else? Some old 42 Dub, some old 8 Ball and MJG off Living Legends. What was I listening to today? Um Armani White definitely goes hard. Been listening to some I was on my East Coast today. Gangstar, Jadakiss, and lastly took it to Mississippi. Tito Lopez, one of the guys that doesn't get mentioned with a lot of the Mississippi artists that dropped a lot of dope stuff. Like Dear Silas, he has the light right now. I went to Jackson State with him. Prior to Dear Silas, there was Big Crit, who has been out here for a minute, like making plenty waves as a staple. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. And then we had David Banner for sure. And then yeah, Tito Lopez, man, he just did not get his flowers for the stuff he was doing. Then my guy Slim Pusher. Slim Pusher actually ended up getting signed by, Cash Money or Baby, or like he was close to the deal with him. Like he was even on like 106 in Park. Like he solid. He got bops. But yeah, anyway, off of that, got on a tangent. That's what I've been listening to. And a lot of classic rock. A lot of classic rock.
Can I go
Definitely
off
classic
on
rock.
a tangent with something you said about NBA Youngboy real quick?
Yeah,
You
for
were
sure.
saying that he's a young boy and he's like hard headed, but you like really appreciate his music. And I believe it's Finesse two times recently has been kind of under, I don't know, criticism per se, because there's this young boy that he just signed. He's like 11, 12, and he's like wild, like just he's outside. And he kind of took him under the wing and like taking him on tour, et cetera, et cetera. And some people are like criticizing him, like, oh, you should be trying to redirect him into a completely different, you know, arena, I guess, versus kind of exposing him to more street shit.
Mhm.
Like, do you think that that was a good play for Finesse two times or not so much?
Twofold. So for the folks who don't know, one of the many hats I used to wear, I used to be a high school teacher. And the school that I taught at was in the hood. Technically speaking, we were like the worst rated school in terms of behavior, where we had so many behavioral issues and suspensions the year prior that they actually capped us on suspensions the year I started. So even if stuff went down, we still couldn't suspend kids. Like I have dealt with active shooters, I've dealt with people having guns in class with me, knives, blades in the boot, you know what I'm saying? Folks running up, popping the trunk, I've broken up I don't know how many fights. And basically it's like when I learned a lot dealing with that crowd, you know what I'm saying? And the one thing I gotta give Finesse 2 times like credit for, he stepped up because everybody may not like what he's on and what he can show them, but you didn't step up. He did. So it's like he had a willingness you didn't have, and now you want to talk about like the direction, but it's like if you had the resources and the wherewithal and you didn't execute in any of those areas, then I'm not going to criticize him for showing this guy what he thinks he needs because this is what he knows. And so he's saying, with what I know and with what I have, I'm willing to help you out because I don't like where you're going, even if he's not perfect. And until I see somebody else who's in a better situation do that, I ain't trying to hear nobody criticize.
I agree.
No, I agree with that. I don't know
It's
the
not
whole
easy.
story. Yeah, it's not. I don't know the whole story, but I think I have seen some video of him with that kid. So I don't want to speak on it too much, but
I
yeah, I
don't know.
mean,
I
That's
would
Gucci,
say
real.
like
Gucci could.
whatever proves to have like a higher success rate. Like you telling Buddy, hey, you shouldn't be outside. You should go play a baseball or something. Like that's probably not going to resonate as much as hey, you're outside anyway. Let me put you under the wing and like now you low key have a little more guidance. You have somebody overseeing you to make sure you're not out here wilding too bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
can be a gradual thing to where he eventually does do a 180, but let's like at least try something, like Chris said. Like at least he stepped up in some way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree
And,
with that.
and that's the big thing. Like, and to clarify, I'm not saying that people can't and or should not have opinions, but especially for people again who have like keywords I said earlier was the wherewithal. Like, you got the resources, you got the availability. If you have that, you're by these kids, you're by this kid, you're by this group. I urge you to do something instead of complain about it. And if you don't have the capacity to necessarily, do this undertaking yourself, but you know somebody else who does, reach out. You know what I'm saying? Like get them looped in. Like everybody not saying like you in particular got to be a Superman, but we got to stop criticizing folks when we got resources to help and we're not using our resources.
So let me ask you this then:
You know,
what resources should Ja Morant utilize?
Common fucking sense. Like that's it.
Who's gonna reach out to him?
so yeah,
Take
that
him under their wing.
so and I think that's so yeah, one of the we want to get into that. We want to say the producer spotlight in the end of the show.
After the end of this segment, yeah.
Cool, cool. We'll put the
That was
producer
too
spotlight
good of
in.
a segue
It
to
no,
let go.
it
No,
was
So
perfect.
perfect segue.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna segue to the first topic, man. We got to talk about Ja Morant and how he's a shooting guard, literally, figuratively, however you want to put it. He
yeah,
needs to use common sense. Like the groups that I taught in high school, the oldest will be like 26 now. The youngest ones will be around 23. It's Ja age range. So it's like, hang with them, I'm like, cool. I get how a lot of y'all think. Am I proud of it? No, but I get it. I've seen it. I raised, y'all, because I still got my students that I keep in touch with, right? Some of them got my number. Some of them like connected to me on Instagram, like a lot more connected to me on Facebook. Like we still keep in touch, you know what I'm saying? And this generation, they love clout. They love, 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 love clout. And I think the big issue is they grew up with social media and like a further level of development than we did, right? Because we are like the last generation that like legit grew up outside. Like I was telling my mom, like there are certain things we do or don't do in like levels of common sense like we were raised with because I could walk out the house at 11 a.m. during the summer. You know what I'm saying? Be all up and down the neighborhood. And I would only pop in if I'm hungry, eating for lunch. You know what I'm saying? Need to give me some water or something. If I ain't get it at my partner's crib and just be home for the street life. Like we legit will be out for like a whole 8, 9 hours And like we didn't have cell phones. So wasn't nobody calling to be like, hey, where you at? It was like, I just trust you gonna be out there. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't trying to Snapchat everything. Yeah, I'm on my bike with my friends. We was just having fun and having the availability to show this stuff was cool. But again, in those developmental ages, like it was worse for them because they didn't have the background we had. Like Snapchat, I first used that when I was 23. For them, you know what I'm saying? It's like 8.
Yeah.
I didn't get my first cell phone until like I was in middle school, and that's only for emergencies because I was at football practice and my mom needed to make sure I was good because she didn't get off work till it was dark, and she'd come scoop me from the football field. Like I only had like 5 numbers in them. It was like my mama, my grandma, my aunt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I had
and
a
these kids
Virgin
start off,
Mobile that was prepaid.
bro.
Virgin Mobile.
My cousin's first phone, like when he got a camera phone, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. The camera was a separate attachment, or like a scope on a gun. He literally had to take
Whoa.
out the camera, plug it into the phone, and then he could take pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, I
That
never saw.
sidekick
Like
was amazing. That was revolutionary
Yeah,
technology. That was beautiful.
facts.
that kick
But
was.
like, not to reminisce too crazy, but like, what I'm saying is like the stuff that we can appreciate is because we grew up without having it. And it was like, yo, this is so amazing to watch. You know, we didn't
Yeah.
have unlimited text messaging. Like when we all had phones in high school, it was like, call me after this time. You know what I'm saying? Don't call me
7 o'clock.
before. I only got X amount of minutes. There were limits, there were
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got unlimited text messaging, unlimited calling, unlimited data. You got these apps that can show any and everything from any and everywhere to any and everyone at any time. And this is what they grew up with. So
Mm-hmm.
to them, it is standard to show your day to day, to show the inner workings of your family, of your job, whatever. And as a consequence, you get hooked on the responses. Ooh, you did that. Ooh, this is what you doing. Look how many people saw my life. Look how many people commented on what I did. And the thing is like it ties in all types of communities, like gay, straight, models, hood dudes, educated, uneducated. You got money, you don't have money. Anybody can be anything on social media. And what I basically told somebody was, Jai's this dude that got what all the hood dudes want. He got all the money and he got all the power,
Mm-hmm.
like the social influence rather.
Mm.
But he don't recognize what he has because he wants their respect. And they looking at him like, bro, you got what we want. And he's looking at them like, I just want your respect. So he tried to act hood coming from this 2 parent household, living like in a nice, like middle or upper middle class family, like home. Like who dad got enough money to rip out their backyard and lay concrete for a basketball court?
That's a fact. So it's like, what do we blame it on? Like, are we blaming it on the fact that he is still immature in a sense? Are we blaming it on this is just the norm and we should get over it? Do we blame it on the influences around him? Or are we blaming it on the fact that you just aren't making smart choices? Because a lot of people are trying to make this argument of, oh, it is the culture of music and hip hop and thug life, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that that excuse is played out.
Yeah.
Facts. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be honest. Everybody wanted to be a rock star, right? And we got to be super, super honest and open about this. While rock, like most genres that use like a beat on 2 and 4, were created by black people, it has now been overtaken by white people. And so when there was the white cultural influence within rock, there were a lot of things that weren't necessarily penchants in black culture, especially like certain types of illicit drugs and how these, not only how these drugs were like used, but then like how people talked about it. So it's cool to like, you can yell. It was cool to like be out here wearing crop tops, things that were not masculine. It was cool to have like serious binges on coke as long as I could play the guitar well. and influenced tons of teenagers to want to live this lifestyle, to run around having unprotected sex with any and everybody, showing off. You're supposed to be a man wearing fur, and minks and heels and lipstick and paint your face up and then do like gratuitous amounts of coke. Nobody got nothing to say about that. Everybody still wants to use the word rock star in a positive light. But then you take people from the hood who understood their own culture. It was like, yo, I'm getting money. I was able to put my family on. I was able to put my boys on. I'm riding in this nice car. Sure, I might smoke weed, but like I'm still doing all these things. I'm still getting to it. I still have something to show for it. Sure, my pants might sag, but again, I am still able to be functional and do boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, it's a problem.
I don't know if it's all of a
I don't.
sudden a problem. I think it just happens to hit home a little bit more, right? Because it's like I remember watching like the VH1 docs and behind the music, et cetera, when rock with like Ozzy Osbourne and Kiss and all them, there was a point where they were totally against that shit too. And like they spoke out against it kind of the same way we are, but it didn't hit home for us because we not watching Kiss and we're not listening to Ozzy Osbourne. So I guess it's just our turn to kind of go through that, like what is deemed acceptable and what's deemed not.
Well, when I say like all of a sudden it's wrong, what I'm getting at is like the public display was like again, everybody says let's rock out. Everybody says I want to be a rock star, right? Those are like household terms. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to me that when we saw people like coming from the hood that like talked about their street life, right? Then we like have so many negative views from white culture, black culture, outside cultures, you know what I'm saying, on the rap side. I'm not saying that it wasn't like full of wrong elements. It was full of real elements though. But again, I'm not saying that some of that stuff wasn't wrong, but like where was y'all keeping the same energy for decades on
So
all this
what
other stuff?
are you saying that this has to do with the music? Because
So
that's
yeah, yeah.
because
So
with
let
between
me
the rock
bring that
star
back.
thing,
Yeah, let me
that's
bring
what
that
I'm
back
asking.
real quick. So to Janine earlier point is like, I think part of it is him just being immature, first and foremost. Secondly, I think this is the norm, but not saying we need to accept it. We need to understand it, right? Because some of the
Hmm.
stuff they be doing is just ain't acceptable. But we can't be out here like getting in a hoopla every time something happens. We don't really understand like why. You know what I'm saying? Like the terms say there's a method to the madness. Understand that method. Understand how to reach these folks. You know what I'm saying? You can't really help Ja if everybody want to talk to Ja like it's a PSA and an after school special. Why is he doing some of this stuff? I think one of the best takes I heard on it was from Bomani Jones. And you're saying everybody was talking about, man, you got all this money, you're gonna lose this money. And that's real. Clearly, Ja ain't tripping on the money. Because when he first flashed the gun, he had to lose like X amount of time. He basically like was able to miss enough games where he couldn't be all NBA at the end of the season. The reason that's important is because had he made the all NBA honors list, he would have been eligible for a super maximum contract.
Hmm.
So effectively, he missed out on at least an extra $39 million coming into his next contract. So some people are like, man, you missed out on $39 million, even though he already signed like a 200 some $1 million deal, even though he already had like connections with Powerade. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm basically saying, like, not that the money ain't important, but like it's not enough to make him say like I need to change. Like there's something else going on. And people are so focused on talking to the money to him. And if he don't care about the money, how you supposed to reach him then? If that's your only
I,
angle.
yeah, I don't think it's about the money. I think that um I think for him it's like we've already you know acknowledged is this is the lifestyle that this generation lives, is that they live their lives in front of the camera.
Yeah.
um and they telling themselves, their friends telling on them, that that's just what happens. Um, I think for Ja is one of those things where he's just I can't blame this on music. I can't blame this on
Yeah,
music.
I don't think it's
I
music. It's just immaturity.
this is it's stupidity. It's stupidity. Yes, he has. We already know he's technically set for life with the money that he has, right?
Facts.
If he's
Facts.
spending it properly and saving it, he's technically already set for life. I don't think that that's the problem. I think the problem is, um, and not necessarily. I don't even think the gun itself is an actual issue because, like, we can technically all,
Fair art.
if you're not a felon, we can all have a firearm. I have one myself, right? Like, it's not a legal thing to do. It's when
Bro.
you're working for you have to look at the NBA as a corporate job. Like that's not it's not your regular 9 to 5. If there are things that you already know will get you in trouble, that's what's going to get you in
Yeah.
trouble. LeBron, as bad as he is with learning lyrics to songs, we see him in videos reciting what he thinks is being said, but you never see him with a gun, right?
That's real.
Well,
Kyrie,
Well, I have, but not like in Instagram,
not
flashing
like
like
that.
live.
Not like that.
not like
That's
storyboarding.
irresponsible. Yeah,
Right.
that's irresponsible way of doing things because it's unnecessary. It's one thing if you're like a hunter or whatever, right? Like if you're going to go hunt or whatever, and you're showing pictures of things like that. That's a sport type of thing. What he was doing was just irresponsible because like you can literally you're holding the gun in a way that you're not supposed to hold a gun, right?
Dancing.
Dancing, and you're now at the point where you can misfire. You can hurt yourself, you can hurt someone else, you can kill someone, right? And that's the irresponsible part about it. So I'm looking at it about at the sense of like how he's holding the gun. The first time we saw him, he was holding it like a little water gun
Bro,
like that. That was
that was
irresponsible.
stupid. That was
And
stupid.
the second time, he made sure that we saw he actually had an adult gun. Um, and it's like, okay, I get it. That's not the way. That's not how you go about showing. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to show that you have that, and especially when you're now that type of guy that's earning that type of money. It's not necessary. So I don't blame it on the music. I just like I can see you know if someone wants to blame it on that, it's not that. If you've been following the Memphis Grizzlies for what the last year, 2 years, you've seen them doing stupid dances before
Bro,
every
that's just a
game.
young team.
It's a young team. That's what I'm saying. Like they're young, they're stupid. I, this is a part of that. you know, I mean, it's unnecessary. It's irresponsible because you've already apologized for this stuff in the first time. You got sat down for 8 games. You lost out on the extra money that you would have made for the all NBA list. Um, like to me, that's punishment enough. I
And this
mean,
might be like spiraling a bit, but like, what if we're putting way too much pressure on him? Because like this kind of goes into the way I say like people put artists on pedestals or put celebs on these pedestals like they're supposed to be these role models. When in all factuality, this is how old is y'all? 20 what? 23, 24?
3, yeah,
23. He's just a
He's
23-year-old.
23.
He just so happens to have stupid amounts of cash, right? And then we also got to consider not everybody comes into the NBA like, I want to be the MVP All Star. I want to break records. Da da da. They're like, this is just a means to get a bag, and I'm gonna get enough to where I can invest it properly to where I don't have to worry. Right. So like it's clear that the money isn't really an issue for him as far as getting the extra 39 mil. He might look at this is enough money for me here to where I don't feel like I have to now put on a face and be the face of a brand, even though you kind of have to be, or that's what you are kind of signing up for, but he doesn't feel like it. It's clear he just doesn't give a fuck. And it was
yeah,
clear
yeah.
when he supposedly used AI chat to issue an apology. He does not
Yeah,
care.
he
And
doesn't.
we have to just accept the fact that he don't give a
Yeah, which is
Like
fine.
I think we need to take a page. Actually, let me stop right there. First things first, I apologize to everybody listening and or watching. I don't think music is to blame. I should have started that off with that, so that to help you all, be guided through my rant. Secondly, I think as a society we got to stop putting a pedestal on people with money. We got that bad because a lot of us are upper lower class or lower middle class. That is typically like a good 70% of America. So,
Yeah,
if the dream to you is making $80,000 a year so you can be set and do stuff for your family, you look at somebody that's making, literally over 100 times that. You're like, why wouldn't you? Why are you? And I think it's unfair to like put them all of a sudden within this like sick virtual signaling like lane on what they wouldn't, shouldn't do because they got money. Because it's like, yeah, money is what you get, but it ain't who you are. And we
yeah,
just
but
think because we're so thirsty for it, like folks' behavior should match this. Like, yes, he signed a contract. Yeah, there's a morality clause. And yes, he did give his word after the first incident. He wouldn't do something like this again. I also think we need to consider the fact that maybe he is used to notoriety from Murray State. He's used to the notoriety, every highlight reel he's made. He's used to the notoriety locally and nationally. And so at this point, money is standard to him. So now that it's become his new standard, we can't expect him to look at it like we look at it because it ain't standard for us. And we got
you
to
know,
stop putting all this pressure on these folks to operate how we think they should when they don't think how we think.
now we'll see. Here's the thing. I don't think this is necessarily pressure. It's common sense. When you're
I think
when
it's both.
you're in a position, well, when you're in a position like is there's pressure being in that position for sure, but we're not putting the pressure on them to be this perfect whatever. I don't think that's what it is. I think what it is that you're in this position. Celebrity is the center of the universe for this society. I mean, that's not something we're ever going to get away from. Like that's what it is. That's what it's always been. That's what it's always going to be. Um, but when you're talking um about someone that is in that position, you do have certain levels of pressure, but at the same time, it's a common sense thing that when you're in a position of influence, right? Dude, he just got I mean, it was a basic shoe, but he got a shoe with I think Nike.
Yeah.
He's working with Powerade. Um, I forgot his other endorsements, but you're jeopardizing more than just your basketball money. Like your endorsement money is what's going to lead you into doing other things as well, right? Outside of basketball. That's how I'm looking at it. Like it's stupid. Yes, it's stupid to do what he did, but it's stupid to jeopardize what could potentially be further down the road, right? And that's not what he's
For sure.
looking at. I get it, but like I get it, but at the same time, we're not putting more pressure on him than what the position calls for.
I, I,
Society is not putting more pressure on that man than what his position is called for. And
I
and
think we got to dissect that a bit.
I think it's more of the criticism. I think it's more of like the criticism and saying shit with like your whole chest, and people just like people just feel very strongly about it.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I
No, I
also
agree.
think when it comes to criticism with those positions and the pressure, um, I think we are putting a lot of pressure on these people. It's just one of those things that normally we see somebody handle it well, but people respond to things differently, right? So you got like a Kawhi. Kawhi stays off the grid. You know what I'm saying? Kawhi is like a mega star in the world of basketball. However, you don't really hear much from Kawhi except like a funny soundbite when he has to do an interview. Think about guys like Marshawn Lynch. They live their life, and outside of people like following them, they're like, no, I'm not giving y'all stuff to peer. And we go into music, even your boy J. Cole. Until like For Your Eyes Only, people didn't even know J. Cole was married, let alone that like J. Cole eventually had a kid. Like nobody knew this stuff. As big of stars as these are. And I don't think Ja knows how to stay off the grid. That's cool. If you don't know how to stay off the grid, like I don't think that as a society we should look at him and be like, bet these are the expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like we shouldn't be looking at you like, why? And again, without understanding, he's 23. All 23-year-olds don't act the same. Everybody ain't finna be LeBron coming out the league. Everybody ain't finna be Kobe. This is also a different generation. This ain't 95. This ain't 2003. This is 2023. Again, like there are so many things that are standard. There's like Snapchat, there's Facebook, there's Instagram. There are all these things that you're able to use at any given point in time to show anything to anyone, anywhere, for whatever reason. And as a consequence, when you grow up living your life like this, and you still have to mingle with a society, with like a group of people that don't understand that, you're
Yeah,
gonna
but
have a lot of like morality clashes.
his generation is not the first to deal with social media in this position too, right? Like you've got other players that are in the league that make the same amount of money or more that are around his age that have those accounts and don't do what he's doing. Like at some point there is like, yeah, we can say that there's some societal influences. At the end of the day, it's on him. It's responsibility. It's personal accountability that is obviously not there. And that's fine. Like that's fine. That has to be acknowledged. But what it's about what you're willing to do from this point forward. And he's already shown what he's willing to do from this point forward, because when he got busted 2 or 3 months ago, between that time and this time, he has shown he does not care. And guess what? That's fine. But what's about to happen because you don't care is you're now about to become a cautionary tale. And I mean, that's just what it
And
is.
that's his
And guess
life to live, and that's his
and this is
journey.
life to live.
Yeah. And
Like
I'm
it's
sure, and
perfectly
I'm sure
fine.
y'all has people that are trying to guide him inside of the right way. So it's like it's not like we're just letting him crash and burn. But at the end of the day, like if I give you the tools, if I give you the game, and you still decide to not take heed to any of that, then at this point we just got to let you do you and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I just find it interesting, like to a degree, what we do and don't allow, what we do and don't find like acceptable amongst people. That's just a big thing. That's the
Yeah.
big thing. We do pick and choose a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we do. We do. But all right. I think let's take a quick break, and then when we come back we'll get into our discussion about AI and music.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. We'll be back.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Dwayne from Past the Ox and Life's a Botch podcast. I'm coming to you with a real dope advertisement if you got a moment. Can we do that? Peep this. Yo, you tired of that uncomfortable feeling with your undergarments? You know what I'm talking about. Like, literally having to adjust so it gets real comfortable in between the, the real safe space. Or maybe just wedgies from just going underneath, you know what I mean? All that. Let's keep it in 100. Y'all know how I'm feeling. Y'all know how that feeling goes. Well, I want to introduce to you the ultimate solution coming from the #1 premium and fit athletic wear just for you. I'm talking about none other than Champ #1 Boxers. Champ #1 Boxers is a black-owned underwear brand, okay? They literally specify in giving you the most top-notch, high-quality, premium adjustable and fittable and totally comfortable undergarment wear that is just for you. Not only is it something that you can wear, feel good in, feel confident in, and love, but it's also high quality, feels good, and most importantly, it is definitely fashionable. Okay, comes in a different wide variety of so many different styles and themes to these undergarments, something to make you look good, feel good, and swag real good in the process. All right, so again, did I get to mention that this is also a black owned brand? It's a black owned brand, y'all, so if nothing else, definitely go support that 100%. So what I want to do is I want to tell you, head on over to OTS Media Co. on all social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. If you go over, you click the link in the bios, it'll take you straight to the Champ No. 1 Boxers website. You can check out all their styles, you can check out their bundle deals, you can check out why this brand exists, what it's all about, and trust me when I say you do not want to miss out on the types of opportunities going on right now on the site. Champ No. 1 Boxers. Make sure you do it for the champ in your life if you ain't already doing it for yourself, champ. All right? Champ No. 1 Boxers. Make sure you go cop those. All right? All right.
Tell me when. Oh, so now that we're back, I wanted to talk about the next topic. Allen Iverson, one of my favorite shooting guards ever, and his role in music. And yeah, we've been having a big problem with AI. He been everywhere. So we really gotta no, man, we talking about artificial intelligence though. And so how artificial intelligence is actually taking the music industry by storm in this really own subtle but like very terrifying way. Because the way technology is set up nowadays, you have the ability to reproduce the wavelengths, right? That are vocals and people that are dead and people that are alive. You can effectively like recreate their sound and put it over new sounds. You could recreate their voice. You put it over new sounds, and it's crazy. Collaborations that you thought would never happen are happening, right? Mix-ups and mashups that you never thought were going to happen are happening, and it's problematic and terrifying now because with this stuff being free use and not being sold, it's kind of taking some of the wind beneath the wings. You know what I'm saying? Taking the wind away from the. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's taking away some of the power of some of these companies that have proprietary rights to put out certain mixes. And since they're not doing it, but you have like free use and you're not selling this stuff, I'll just make it myself and put it out. What are you supposed to do about that? How do y'all feel about AI in music?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I just feel like, is it cool? Sure. Is it like, wow, this is really amazing, like that we've gotten to a point with technology to where we could have like a Michael Jackson collab with Gucci. I don't know, just like something crazy. Like it's amazing that we can do it, but I just feel like with the use of AI now, like um artists are now like losing ownership of who they are as artists and of their art and their creativity. It's like, especially now since it's so new, there's loopholes and there's ways of people basically profiting off of an artist, and the artist doesn't get any type of say so, any type of money, any type of gain from it. And it's like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
I heard that. It was, I don't like it.
I don't like it. Like, other than, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I just don't like that
No, that's right.
you can now profit off of my likeness and my voice and everything that has made me the person that I am with
Well,
this AI.
that's the reason why I think it's going to be legislated, because I don't think that so when you're put like this, you're now messing with corporations in their pockets, right?
Mhm.
And I think we're going to see, I mean, it's fine right now. I think any content creator that can kind of like utilize it to propel themselves into like a spotlight or whatever should definitely utilize it. And do it now, because I think it's going to be legislated, because there's no way
Yeah.
that you can there's no way that corporations are going to be okay with this. I'll just put it like that. They're not going to be okay with losing out on money. Um, and especially when you're talking about um, different people, different artists that have passed away, right? If you're if you're utilizing Biggie Smalls for music or whatever, I don't know how the state is gonna react to something like that, right? And I do feel like in a way you could potentially put yourselves like artists can put themselves into a situation where they could potentially be sued by an estate later on. Um, because I don't see how there are copyright laws, right? And you can't infringe on those different lyrics or something like that without permission of use to use those lyrics or whatever, right? But you can utilize their likeness or their voice. I don't. I think it's going to come to a point where it'll be legislated, um, and I'm okay with that. I think there should be boundaries for certain things. I think there should
I,
be. It's gonna get scary. I mean, it is scary right now, but it's gonna get to a point where it's like out of control.
I think it's it's good things happening by people who are doing bad things,
Mm-hmm.
which may sound confusing at first, but I think like there are a lot of good things being brought about by showcasing the strength, the dexterity, and power of AI. But I think
Mm-hmm.
bad things are coming out of it because, again, this doggone generation goes OD with anything that becomes available. And it's
Right.
so frustrating. It's like that's how you get all these dumb trends and challenges. Because one person does it and everybody's like, oh, I can do that too. Let's all do it. And it's like it's super saturated with everybody trying to go viral, trying to showcase something. And the
Mm-hmm.
problem is like just because you're now famous doesn't mean that it's not having an impact. And now you have everybody and their mama trying to recreate AI mashups. You got people like doing Drake covers with Kanye voice. You got, Kanye doing excuse me, you got Drake doing Kanye covers. You know what I'm saying? Knowing
Mm-hmm.
that they got beef. You're giving people who don't really have a platform and all they do is just repost or they want clickbait, like an opportunity to just show something just because I want the first to do it and somebody's going to
Right.
listen to it and you don't have anything of significance after that. And the problem
Right.
with that is like that gets noticed, but you don't have any credibility or any backing for why you did it. And now you got
Yeah.
a like saturation of people without the credibility or backing. And it's no longer like, hey, look at something we can do. This is really cool, huh? It's like lawless. It's super loose and it's out there and it's available and it's accessible. And to people who got money, that's scary. And they're going to cause like legislation to be brought down. But that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, because it was so loose and lawless and it didn't really have boundaries and it was just so accessible, the legislation is likely going to be like OD or it's going to like overstep some boundaries just to kind of put people in place and keep like power in their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Because for the sake of like hip hop, for instance, I think part of the lore of this still young genre, right? Hip hop ain't older than some of our aunties. Quite
Mm-hmm.
frankly, like hip hop ain't even the same age as our parents, right? Hip hop came out in 78. Shoot, it's 11 years older than me, and I'm 33. You got to really put that in perspective. And so it's like part of the lore in all of these like decades that took place is like the unreleased music or the stuff that got like lost in translation or the legend that comes behind it. Oh shoot, I forgot about this Biggie and Tupac freestyle when they used to be friends. Oh man, here's the lost tape. Here's these mixes. and like it's so dope to hear that. And now it's kind of like some of the fun got taken away because it's like I just make it myself.
I knew it was going to
And
be a problem because we had talked about this in a previous episode. Remember, there was an AI artist that got signed. It was a hip hop artist,
oh, the white
and
dude saying nigga.
yeah, and he was just nigga, 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 and we found out that the two creators of this AI were these white boys. And it's just
Yeah,
like it's not okay.
yeah, yeah. That's
No,
why I think it's gonna get legislated because it's gonna we're now crossing over into the territory where there are going to be a lot of people that miss out on money because of this. And again, when you're talking about dead artists, estates are going to be missing out on revenue and stuff. I don't
yeah,
see how that's
hey,
going to be legal. I mean,
hey,
AI is something that's like it's evolving every day. This is a very rapid pace growth. This is not going to be like something that we can kick the can down the road a little bit and we'll be okay. This thing is growing, and I think that AI tools are something that everyone benefits from in certain ways, right? I think
yeah,
we utilize it in our normal days right now. If you have Siri or Alexa and all that, like we utilize AI, but
hey, we ain't even got that together because
I
they
know,
they nosy.
and that's what I'm saying. Like the way that this is going, where you're talking about, I thought, to be honest, I think with the whole hologram thing, I thought that was a pretty interesting concept where you had artists that were popping up as holograms. I thought it was pretty interesting. Um, but where you're now taking it to where you could copy their voice, that's going to be something that ends up being something
Hey,
detrimental if it's not
hey,
if it's not kept in boundaries.
I've been thinking about that Spice Adams meme when he in the yellow suit, he ain't got a shirt on, and he behind that tree like
Yeah.
I was like, yo, that's Marvin Gaye's estate. Yeah, they just waiting, boy. They quick to sue
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard you say the name Gay. Yeah, Gay, not with an E on it. We gonna take you to court anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
I
I'm
mean,
like,
and Timberland, but Timberland's under fire now. He's not even going to put it out, but he was talking about, well, he previewed a track with him and Biggie, right? And said that he was going to put it out. That was his dream collaboration. And now he's saying he's not going to release it. But, it's like, again,
hey,
I think it's cool for, I'll put it like this. I think it's cool when you have artists that that just kind of like want to showcase what they can do, right? If you're releasing it as a mixtape or something like that. I think that's pretty cool. Like I wouldn't be against it because they're not in a mixtape form. They're not likely going to earn any money off of it per se. It's going to be something just to put them out and showcase what they can do. I'm all right with that. But when you're
I,
utilizing it, huh?
go ahead, go ahead.
No, but when you're utilizing it and putting out as albums on streaming sites, where you're collecting money, and you know, if you're doing a track with Nipsey on one track, and then Tupac on another, and DMX on another, like it's you're not paying their estate.
Yeah.
You're not paying their estate, and it's for their likeness. It's almost as if you're utilizing. I look at it as, if you were to take, let's say you were to take Snoop Dogg's face, put it on a shirt, and sell it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get enough money on it, it will catch his team's attention, and his team, he will sue you for
Mm-hmm.
utilizing his likeness,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be the exact same thing. I don't know how we're going to be able to, get away from that. I don't see. I personally don't want to see anybody get away.
I got a hot take for you.
What was up?
Well, actually, I don't even know if it's hot but it's definitely a deep take. Disclaimer: I'm not a hotel, and I'm not quote unquote woke. Let me just throw that out there. But I do want us to look at societal trends, right? And I feel like the backlash that's going to come is from the elite being beat at their own game. See, the thing about being in a capitalist society is the things that are made available gives you the opportunity to capitalize or take advantage to the best of your ability of said product, entity, instance, time, whatever. We've been seeing this AI stuff like be introduced in various formats, but it's usually somebody with a whole lot of money who's typically not connected to the majority of society, right? The folks that we talked about, that class. You ain't hanging around these folks when you got X amount of dollars. So you don't really know what these folks be on. You're assuming and you're hoping you're gonna be right, but it's gonna be like Jason Tatum field goal percentage in the fourth quarter of game one. I had to get you back, Derrick. So it's like you're
That's real adorable. That was
you can't bet the trade though. But like but no, on some real stuff though, it's like you're really just shooting in the dark sometimes because with you not being connected to that class, you really don't know everything that's gonna be on. And you're just hoping that what you think will be it is it. So the hologram Tupac, it was weird. Like, was it cool for technology? Sure. Ultimately, it was weird. I am not gonna go to no hologram concert. I am not so much of a fan that I'm like, oh, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, then COVID like made things turn up in the worst way because now you see the pipe dreams of like Zuckerberg's disconnect come to fruition. Yo, let's make a metaverse. Bro, what? Like,
well, see,
we grew up playing The Sims
anyway. Like this stuff was going to happen anyway. Like pandemic fast tracked this. This was not something we were going to not see.
Well, I'm not saying that like it wasn't gonna happen, but that's what I'm saying. Like they got beat at their own game, right? Because the picture that I'm painting is like we had this metaverse, right? You got a like virtual universe that literally has just a weird like what exclamation point for a body, like that's upside down, no legs, and then people just like OD with that too. Like people just be OD on everything. A woman talking about she got raped in the metaverse. You ain't even got a lower half. What you get raped with? But like dumb stuff like that is taking place, right? Because people are literally trying to like live, my bad, but like people are trying to live like full on like lives, good or bad, in this virtual world. And then people are like, yo, we don't want that. Now you got people like, well, we gonna do like AI rappers. And it's like, I mean, it's cool what they can do, but like we don't want that because we still got humans with like talent, you know what I'm saying? So then they had the nerve to say like, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna like release these things through AI. And humans are like, not humans, are like the regular society, like, I got you one better. How about we do the things that we know we like? We don't want a virtual world. We don't want hologram rappers. We don't want AI rappers. But it would be cool to hear these pipe dream mashups. Oh, I can make that with AI. Let me share that with people. Oh, that would be dope. Instead of saying, man, why hasn't so and so and so and so collab yet? See, the thing that Timberland is doing, he's capitalizing on things that people made that these elite folk that ain't connected weren't doing. It's the same thing that happened with the versus battles. Yo, who's better, X person or Y person? Well, pick your best songs. I pick their best songs. And then it was like, well, we got money, so we're going to capitalize off of it. That's exactly what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like all these elite people just keep getting beat at their own game, and then they want to put like legislation on it, right? Because you think about stuff like cyberbullying, right? Not saying that things people weren't doing were bad, but like you can get some serious penalties for enacting with somebody. I'm not enacting, or interacting with somebody like a certain way online, right? But nobody talks about some of the interactions that actually take place from people in positional power, albeit at work, albeit like even like first responders or judiciary people, things that they might say and do that make you feel a certain way, and they're excused because they have a certain position of power, right? Even if you did a crime, like a judge could talk to you like completely reckless on the stand. You know what I'm saying? We've seen body cam footage where like cops like for real be so out of pocket, physically and verbally, and get away scot free. You can be at work and it is more acceptable for you to lose your job than it is for you to speak up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? But then if you find a way around that, right? I can send an email, I can say certain things, or I can speak to you a certain way. All of a sudden, if you have like equity and power with me, that's bad. We need to regulate it.
Well,
And that's what they're
so
doing with AI.
so the reason why I'm saying that I think that's going to end up happening is because there's going to be a thing. I feel there's going to be something that's going to be put in place that authenticates, allows you to authenticate where or realize or whatever, how you want to put it, that this is a human voice or is an AI voice or AI generated audio, because you already have people that are able to, they're already using this to scam people out and money and everything like that anyway. Like this is a, like, there's evil ways with different things and there's good things you can utilize with I mean that's almost, that's, there's a good and bad to almost anything at this point.
Yeah.
But I just there's something with the music aspect of it that I can't help but feel that this is going to get out of control within the next 6 to 8 months. I mean, it's already
Out of control now.
but it's going to be further out of control
Right.
if there's no legislation put into place as to you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's going
But
to
that's
take
why
a
I
minute.
say is but that's why I say it's crazy, because the reality is if people didn't take matters into their own hands on Instagram, you would have saw companies do this. Somebody at one of these companies or these record labels would have been like, yo, purchase this, collaboration, purchase this iteration. I mean, folks were selling ringtones with Alvin and the Chipmunk AI type voices. One thing Alvin and the Chipmunk. It's just because it sounded different and it wasn't out. So you got people like spending silly money on that. Oh, 99 cents here, 99 cents there. What would stop somebody from spending like $1 to hear, Drake on the Kanye West track, to hear Kanye on the Drake track with AI? What would stop somebody from hearing another like posthumous Biggie voice? Because they was already using AI when they had released that Biggie album back in like '06 or whatever. That was stupid feature heavy. That had like the Bone Thugs and Eminem and 50 and all that on it. It's like, yo, Biggie's legit been dead for like 10 years. And y'all didn't have enough material for 10 years worth to like make an album with like new verses. You know what I'm saying? I think about that track of Spit Your Game. Like Spit Your Game came from what was it called? Like Notorious Thugs? When it was like Spit Your Game, talk your ish, grab your gat, call your click, like it was like Notorious. If you don't remember that track, I remember. It was an original track called like Notorious Thugs by the Bone Thugs featuring Biggie. His Bone and Biggie, Biggie, his Bone and Biggie, Biggie. And they reused that verse. And then they had other songs where they like just added AI to some of the verses. Like you got people like being done like that, like Mac Miller. Like they did that with Tupac. Like they tried to do with these folks, and it was like, yo, they didn't finish completing the album, but we spliced together these verses. We spliced together these words to complete it for them. We've been seeing it for like 20, not 20, well, yeah, 20 years now. I forgot how old we are. It sucks. We've been seeing it for like 20 years though. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like they've been profiting off of it. But now that you got people who can do this on their phone at their home and then upload it on the same platforms you do, and then make more off of it than you, now it's got to be regulated. I'm not saying that I like it, But I'm saying this is what we finna see and why.
No,
They mad that
what,
money getting taken out their pockets by people smarter than them.
but with what you're talking about, the estate, if I'm not mistaken, the estate of these
Yeah.
artists were involved, were they not?
The state
So
was
that's
involved because it was for sale. If you do it for free
that's what I'm
use,
saying. Like the estate has the ability to okay that move. They don't
what
have
if it's free
the
use?
ability to, again, it goes back to what I was talking about before of utilizing someone's likeness for profit, right? If you're the one that has ownership of that likeness, I'm not saying, like whether it's fair or not, but if you're the one that has that owns the likeness, the rights to that likeness, and someone is utilizing it without your permission, you're within every right to go and collect the money. You are within the right. Like that's and I think that's what's going to end up happening with generating someone's voice with a tool like this, because the way Drake sounded on, what was that, Ice Spice song,
It was him.
that sounded just like him.
Yeah.
That's
Like
what I'm
it
saying.
was
Like it
perfect.
effectively was him.
It was perfect. And I like, it's funny. It's funny to like to hear and be like, oh, like whatever. But that's what's going to end up happening moving forward, and even worse, right? Like, because that was for jokes. This is going to end up happening to where people are actually utilizing it. I actually think that studios will utilize it too, because even with the writer strike in Hollywood, you have studios that want to utilize AI to write scripts and not writers,
Mm.
right?
Dude, they use
So
AI to make Jonah Hill kiss Lauren London. Bro, they been doing it. They just mad that it's accessible for us to do what they've been doing.
no, but see, that's the thing. I like, that's what I'm saying. Like, because it's taking money out of pockets,
Yeah.
that's where it's gonna get legislated. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. You know, I do think it has to be within a set amount of rules, though, because it's going to get further out of control, right? And especially if you're talking about for profit. If you're not talking about for profit, with music, that's one thing. But think about it like this, okay? Outside of music, you're talking about the ability to be able to say someone said something without any proof. Like, it's just hearing audio, and now people are able to be scrutinized for something that they didn't even say. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like, it's one
mean,
thing to imitate someone, but it's another to actually generate their voice on a script you typed up to then get someone else in trouble. That is irresponsible use of a great tool. And
but
that's
let's
where I
be
think
honest
it's going to
though.
end up being where it gets legislated as well, because you're talking about people that are in high places that can't get in trouble. you know?
But bro, how many dudes, how many women, how many folks been locked up on some he say, she say, quote unquote witness accounts, and there wasn't due diligence given to actually
I agree.
see if it was verifiable? So this is what
I
I'm
agree.
saying. It ain't nothing that don't exist already, and they're picking and choosing how they want to apply this, be it like what you suggested actually comes to fruition. And that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying it's so like it's frustrating to see because your argument has so much potential when you talk about estates, when you talk about like we don't have the ability to verify this stuff, and it's like, but y'all wasn't doing it when it pleased your interests. And that's the thing. Nothing stopped you from validating like DNA tests. Like, come on, bro. Like, and I'm telling you as a scientist, like I recognize that like technology has gotten better, but there were certain things people could have actually done 20 years ago, and they're like, well, we just didn't want to order a DNA test. So you mean to tell me you would rather profit off somebody being in prison for 10 years as opposed to just ordering a $200 DNA test? Later on getting sued for like X amount of millions because you didn't do a due diligence. But now when it comes to something as simple as music, because somebody has access to the same technology you have access to, because they paid the same amount of money for the same program, and they're able to beat you at your own game. They released it for free before you could release it for profit. Oh, we gotta legislate this now. Because again, they've been doing it in our face. And I think the problem is like, yeah, some people really are OD with like their like pipe dream collaborations. But again, if you're not selling it, you're not directly selling this product. It's almost like the Ja Morant situation. It's like outside of like certain things morally, did you actually commit a crime? Or are people just upset because you didn't do what they wanted you to do? Like there are levels to this. Just like
Yeah.
Ja tweet because he shouldn't have had the gun on camera and he gave his word that he wouldn't do it. There are some people who like, yeah, you might be tweaking because you're doing entirely too much and you way hot on social media. But at the same token, what crime did you actually commit that all of a sudden we got to put legislation in place so you can't commit a crime, which in turn will put money in our pockets that we're not getting just because you're doing something that is legal. Like that's manipulating the law like crazy.
Well, I mean, you're basically talking about something about the same process as like weed, the whole weed
That's
industry.
Yeah, but
Like,
see, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought up capitalism earlier because America is upset that other people like the thing that sucks about capitalism, you know what I'm saying, is like how it's so easy to manipulate because it's designed that anybody can take advantage of this, be it they have the opportunity to take advantage of it. But when greed got put in place of everybody's interest, it allowed people who did have the ability to capitalize on specific things or had resources to capitalize on it better to put themselves in a position that effectively is out of reach. The problem that creates now is while the society and the economy is still technically capitalist, so many people have such a strong advantage to capitalize that now, if they aren't able to capitalize, instead of just saying, yo, I'm gonna chalk that up as an L, you know what I'm saying? They trying to punish you for it. Like that's
mm,
wild to me. It is legal for me to buy the same software as you. It's legal for me to use Instagram for free, just like you use it. And it's legal for me to produce this material without making profit off of it. But now we're going to have to legislate this so I can violate rules that doing something for free is now illegal and effectively makes me have to pay you, whether it be royalties, penalties, or interest for using something. Like this is going to be a Supreme Court case if it does, because it would effectively violate fair use copyright law.
mhm.
Because like if I put something on Instagram and it gets 1 million views, I didn't put it on Instagram to hit 1 million views so I could get the profit of 1 million views. I just put it on Instagram. Because then if you want to say, well, we're making profit because you got X amount of views and it's generating this income for you, that effectively means fair use is dead. So what can we put on Instagram that literally isn't ours now?
I mean, I see your point. I see your point.
Like this is about to
I'm
get
just,
real messy because they about to shoot themselves in the foot and then try to bandage it up and then blame it on us.
yeah. No, I mean, I see your point. I just think it's to the place where, um,
Bro, they ugly and they
again,
breath stink.
huh?
I said they ugly and they breath stink.
I just think we're at the point now where it's it is going to be extremely dangerous because again, now anybody can say you said something that you didn't say, or now people can put you in music. Like for example, Prince didn't like every artist, right? He
Facts.
didn't want anybody, utilizing his music and stuff like that, but you know, now people can just utilize his voice and that's to me that's dangerous. To me that's dangerous. I get it, but that's dangerous.
So let's do this. How do you feel about voice impersonations? What about Chris the whatever making fun of Eminem? Right? What about D. Ray Davis mimicking Bernie Mac on College Dropout? Like,
So you're saying
can you sue
that's
somebody for that?
utilizing their? You're saying that that's utilizing someone's likeness for profit.
I mean, yeah, if your voice was your tool, right? Imagine being a comedian. Your point of notoriety and your tool is your brain and your voice. You take away a voice, I don't have comedy. You know what I'm saying? I'm brain dead. I can't produce the clever material that makes up the comedy. Right? That's the same reason why Mariah Carey, because of her voice, granted it was singing, but she was able to get her vocal cords insured. I had never heard of that till she did it.
She got her
Because it
legs
wasn't like I got, you said what?
she got her legs insured too.
See, that's wild. I don't even know what people be seeing in legs. I ain't never seen a pair of legs, but like, dang, those some sexy legs. I'm like, I'm glad you walking, but like, all right, get on my way. But anyway,
Hey, Mariah's got great legs. I
Great
cannot.
legs.
yeah, you know what? You get a gold star for that flip. You ain't slick.
Hey, they're beautiful.
I see
So
what you're doing. I ain't mad at you,
I
player.
can say I've seen legs that are gorgeous. So I cannot agree with you.
But I can appreciate the fact that Mariah is the most gorgeous woman ever to you.
She is. She is.
But back to Mariah Carey, the songstress. It's like her insuring her vocal cords because she knew if something happened to them that it would effectively impact her career. So I
Yeah.
think the same regard is like if you have people who can mimic, right, and do a mimicry for comedy purposes or whatever. If I mimic your likeness and I profit it, then what, right? Because what is the line? What's the line of delineation or point of delineation for jokes or in amusement or like profit? Because College Dropout was sold for a whole bunch of money. It's one of the greatest debut albums of all time. But I don't think anybody in Bernie Mac's estate was like, yo, Kanye, you owe us some money. When he did it, not only a College Dropout, but also brought it back for late registration.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think D. Ray Davis got sued for that. And it wasn't even on some Chicago love type stuff. I don't think anything came of it. But Eminem heard it, look what I'm handling. Like, he just laughed at it. Because, like, can you really sue somebody for that, even though it's being sold? So, but all of a sudden, we finna do that with AI? Hey, that was
I
wild.
think
I
I
see
think
your
there's a
point and
difference
what you're
between
trying to connect it to, but it is a difference. Like it's a difference
yeah.
between being the comic jokey joke and impersonating somebody, even though I don't like comics that only do that because that's not really. But it's a difference between that and like I'm about to make a full catalog, a full song, a full like project and profit up off of it using your likeness and your voice.
Yeah, because
Well,
one
let
is
me ask this.
mimicking and the other is a carbon copy.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference with that.
I really feel like part of the pushback regarding that is familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because I do think in ending, if Jay Farrow recorded an entire album mimicking somebody, people will look at it as amusement, right? Kind of like we do if somebody says something like, man, you ugly. And you can laugh because that's your boy. I assume I know their intention. But if I don't know your intention, even though if it's the exact same act, I'll treat it differently. And I think the intentionality is now in question because money's involved. I think that's the only reason that it's being questioned is
Yeah.
because money is being involved.
Yeah. I mean, money makes the world go round, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what runs society. So
So it ain't moral, it's monetary.
I think it's both. I think there's both. I think both of them go with this. I think both go hand in hand in this situation. I think both go hand in hand.
I'm with it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, I think that I think we're about
Hey.
done.
Oh, hey, we gotta do the producer spotlight. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
gotta fill out this mic. That don't exist. This my it's my shield because I didn't have my mic attached. I'm on headphones today, y'all. But Shout out to the engineers that made this tech from this unnamed company that's not paying us for advertisement. But these are some really good Bluetooth headphones. If y'all have been able to like my sound and my quality, I'll say that much. But yeah, for the producer spotlight today, I want to highlight one of my favorite producers, who is seemingly a really cool dude that does a whole bunch of weird stuff, but like musically, the dude is just dope, man. Stephen Aaron Jordan, most commonly known as Stevie J, the man who gave us loads and buku meme faces through our love and hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Hit us with one of those real quick. Um, Dude is a musical genius. So, quick background on him. You know what I'm saying? He was born in Utica, New York. He was raised in Buffalo and Rochester. Even though, our homies Angel and Jonathan don't claim him, it's okay though, cause like he's still a legend. But one of the big things is, he was part of the legendary, Hitmen, the in-house roster of people, for Bad Boy Records. Like when Bad Boy was like legit coming up and Biggie was alive and Diddy wasn't riding the coattails of Biggie. So like he worked on so many dope projects with so many people. And he produced one of my favorite R&B songs of all time, Honey, by the vocal cord insured legend Mariah Carey. And he produced one of the most classic, notable flips of old school music ever, when he flipped, I'm coming out to create more money, more problems for Biggie, Mace, and Puffy.
Oh, that's
Stevie
fine.
J did that.
Yeah.
Man. Like he also produced the song Breakdown from Mariah Carey. You know what I'm saying? Like I Still Believe. Um Shoot, let me go back to his production discography, because there's so many songs, like starting from like 96 on Kissing You by Total, which was nuts. He produced that like I'll Be Missing You. He produced that one. Um, man, he produced Let Me Blow Your Mind by Eve.
Yeah.
Dang, man, he had some crazy ones. Um, Let me see. He produced Hot and Wet for 112. He produced Been So Long by New Edition. He produced let me see. Wow, I didn't know he actually produced Freak by Sherry Dennis. He produced with Day 26, Bobby Valentino, TGT, Rick Ross, Puffy and the Family. He produced Nobody Else with Summer Walker on the album Over It. He ain't never stopped. You may also know him from being married to a bunch of women that had notable um, entertainment prowess. At one point he was married to the legendary Faith Evans. You know what I'm saying? So you know her because she is a musical songstress, a super dope voice, who has hilarious stories. He was married to Mimi Faust, who he has a daughter with. She produced a mixtape. I'm gonna call it mix, but the first letters are SE, not MI. And then also was with Jocelyn Hernandez, who
Puerto Rican princess.
the Puerto Rican princess, who we all questioned the gender until she let us know on her own what her, what her gender was, and yeah. No, but jokes aside though, no, CBJ is a legend for real deal, like one of my favorite producers, because I think the thing that makes him so cool is he was able to access like really interesting, unique, and authentic sounds to create a lot of his production, whether it had been in like hip hop or it had been in R&B. And respectfully, he's like akin to a Timbaland with how he was able to flip some of these noises. 'Cause I think one thing that like we love about Timberland is like how he is able to like extract like, yo, I wouldn't have thought of that. And he puts it in the sound. I mean, he puts it in the song and he makes a beat off of it. And like I don't hear the synth like we hear in Honey like that. Wow, wow, wow. Like you don't hear stuff like that. You don't hear like that Let Me Blow Your Mind. Like that's a completely different sample kit. Like you don't hear people just use that repeatedly. And I think that's what makes him so cool because a lot of his production is unique and there aren't many tags where you're just like, I know that's Stevie J. It's just that good.
Yeah.
So props to you, man. Salute to you for giving us not only like labs, but yeah, having hella dope music.
Legend.
I'm sorry I cut you
Well,
off, Janine. I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't.
all right. Well, let's go ahead and give our socials, and I think we can call this a perfect episode.
I'm with it.
Perfection. You can follow me on Instagram at Nina Soul, Nina with 2 I's, Soul the Spanish way, SOL. And you can just find me everywhere else through that one thing. So yeah, Nina Soul.
Yes, I use the handle one as in the actual numeral one. Chris CHRIS Rob ROB. That is going to give you access to my Twitter. That is going to give you the ability to access my locked Instagram, and I'll accept you if I feel like it. And you can also follow my science page at Everyday Genius 365. We will be coming off hiatus soon, talking about a litany of topics, everything ranging from drugs to exercise and mental health to materials, space, time. Because yeah, I went to school for all of this stuff, and I want to talk to y'all about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you can follow me at Derrick underscore OTS. That's DERRICK. Black way to spell it.
Mhm.
Don't see, and you're mocking me, so
Some of them couldn't see what I just did.
so yeah, so
Take her to court.
yeah. I'll see you in court, buddy. Um,
Oh shoot, that's AI.
but but nah. More importantly, just follow the brand OTS Media, Media Co. on all social media platforms. OTS Media on YouTube. If you're watching, and you have not done so, hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell. See what we got going on. You might as well. You're on the page, so if you made it this far, we really love you. But
Definitely
thank you guys
appreciate
for
you.
watching. Most definitely. Thank you guys for watching and/or listening, and we will catch you all next time. Peace.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna throw this in real quick. Soon y'all bust in next month when I whoop Derrick using Wale in the fans battle. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that sounds like insecurity to me. Catch y'all later. Bye.